posisyon, dapat tignan ng taong bayan ngayong Pilipinas. Tignan ninyo kung ano ang ginagawa. Sa halip na magsalita kung paano pa dagdagan yung pondo para sa ayuda o paano dagdagan pa yung tulong ng mga kama, baka sakali talagang it might go out of control and spread like a wildfire. They don't do that. Maghanap ng issue ng dagat, kaya kayong people of the Republic of the Philippines, pag-aralan ninyo mabuti. Ito yung mga tao na walang ginagawa kung hindi magreklamo. You were all witnesses. Lahat tayong buhay pa nung simulang previous administration. Nakita naman ninyo. Nakita ninyo kung ano ang ginawa nila sa Pilipinas. At kung magtanong anong magagawa mo, kung yan, huwag ninyong kalimutan. Huwag ninyong kalimutan kasi pagdating ng araw, kayo rin ang maghuhusga. Kayo ang nakita ninyo. Ano bang problema nitong raising so many issues, nonsense and trivia, just because they want to be heard?
The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. As the government announced new quarantine classifications for the rest of the month, President Rodrigo Duterte warned that he will hold local executives responsible for any violation of health protocols in their areas. To tell us more about what was discussed last night, we have Maricel Halili. She's reporting live from Mandaluyong. Good morning, Maricel. Let's start with a lot of people still confused about this new quarantine classification for the NCR+. What exactly does GCQ with heightened restrictions mean, and how is this different from the previous classification?
Yes, Charles, another new classification of community quarantine. Well, we cannot blame the people if they get confused. But based on the statement of presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, some of the protocols which will be implemented under the GCQ restricted classification is first, all public transportation will still be operational as long as they follow the protocol set by the Department of Transportation. All indoor dine-in services and NCR Plus shall be allowed, but only 20% of the seating capacity. Outdoor dining are also allowed, but up to 50% of their seating capacity. Outdoor tourist attractions in NCR Plus will also be opened, but only 30% with strict adherence to minimum public health standard. And religious gatherings will now be allowed starting tomorrow, because the implementation of the GCQ and NCR Plus will start tomorrow. Religious gatherings and gatherings for necrological services, wakes, and funerals who died of causes other than COVID-19 in NCR Plus shall be allowed up to 10% of the venue capacity. But of course, Charles, there are still businesses that won't be allowed to open, such as the games and amusement, kiddie rides, indoor sports courts, and those activities which might cause us, or which will be identified as a super spreader.
Right, thanks for clarifying all of that, Mase. But then the president also said that he won't allow violations of the COVID-19 protocols that have been set by the IATF. So how exactly does he plan to hold local government units accountable for these violations?
Well, he already made a sample in Caloocan. Yesterday, the Interior Department has already announced that they have already filed administrative case against the barangay captain in charge of the area of that particular resort where mass gathering in Caloocan happened. So this is what the president is saying. He actually ordered the Department of Interior and Local Government to file administrative cases against those local officials who are not able to impose the strict protocols drafted by the Interagency Task Force.
All right, let's move on to some good news. We have NTF Chief Implementer and Vaccine Czar, Carlito Galvez, saying that there's lots of good news with respect to the country's vaccination program. Can you break this down for us?
That's right, Charles. Vaccine Czar Carlito Galvez announced that there are more doses of vaccines coming into the country. Just for the month of May, we're expecting about 2 million vaccines, which will come in the country. This includes the 193,000 doses of Pfizer. On June, we're also expecting about 7 million doses of vaccines. And if this continues, it'll be much easier for the country to achieve herd immunity.
Right, Marcel, Secretary Galvez also said that the public acceptance of vaccines is actually growing. What was his basis for this?
Well, based on the observation of the national government, we can see that a lot of people are now interested in having anti-COVID vaccine. A very evident example is what happened yesterday at Santa Ana Hospital, where a lot of frontliners were actually there in queue to receive a Pfizer vaccine. So evidently, a lot of people are now interested in having anti-COVID vaccine as the number of cases grow.
Right, Marcel, the president also said, and I quote, that we will distribute the vaccines as fast as we can. That's what he said. So how exactly do they intend to do this, and how far are we from achieving the target population within the year?
Charles, last night, President Duterte acknowledged that, of course, there are expiration dates on these brands of vaccines. I understand that AstraZeneca will be expired after 2 months, as well as Gamaleya, the Russian vaccine. So this is some of the concerns of the national government. That's why he ordered the Vaccine Czar and the local governments to distribute these vaccines as soon as possible and make sure that it will be used ASAP to those people involved or included and in A1, A2, and A3. The problem now is that the national government cannot start the vaccination for the A4 category right away because the COVAX facility has a condition that those brands which will come from COVAX facility can only be used to those individuals included in A1, A2, and A3 categories. So we still have to wait. Come June, their target is to start the A4 category in June.
Right, so Marcel, could you tell us how close we are to achieving the specific vaccination target that's been set by authorities?
We're still far from the target vaccination per day. I understand that currently we're at 60 to 70,000 individuals being vaccinated a day. Our target is to increase it to 120,000 doses per day and hopefully make it 500,000 eventually. We can only achieve those numbers if we can provide the NCR plus area at least 3.3 million doses of vaccines. But the national government remains to be optimistic considering the number of vaccines coming in the country recently.
Talking about vaccines that have come into the country, do we have any updates on the EUA application for Sinopharm?
For Sinopharm, Charles, the Department of Health has already announced that they will be the ones that will apply for its emergency use authorization. Now, we asked presidential spokesperson Harry Roque yesterday, what's the plan of the national government if they are still planning to return the Sinopharm vaccine to the Chinese government after the controversy. But Secretary Roque could not answer it. It still has to wait for the order of the president because there is progress, a development, considering that the World Health Organization has included the Sinopharm to its emergency use listing. So we have to wait. But as to the Department of Health, they will be filing for the EUA application before the Food and Drug Administration, and the evaluation will start anytime soon.
Thank you for those updates, Mase. Again, that was Maricel Halili reporting live from Mandaluyong. Maritime authorities shooed away Chinese vessels at the West Philippine Sea for a second time. However, hundreds still remain in the area, and the palace continues to downplay the situation. Patricia Mangune with the details.
After they were shooed away from the Sabina Shoal back in April, 3 Chinese maritime militia vessels returned to waters off the coast of Palawan. First on May 7 and another batch the following day. The Philippine Coast Guard and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources had to radio challenge them once again.
Holding 3 unidentified foreign vessels at the vicinity of southeast of Sabina Shoal. This is Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources vessel MCS 3001. You are within Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone.
Using 2 rubber boats, the Chinese vessels were eventually dispersed. The country currently has 5 government ships manned by the PCG and BFAR doing maritime patrols and exercises in the area, along with 7 sea assets of the PNP Maritime Group. In the latest report of the National Task Force on the West Philippine Sea, 287 Chinese maritime militia vessels remain in Kalayaan. But Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Locsin was livid for being kept off the loop on the report. The DFA is now firing off another diplomatic protest in response to the maritime encounter. Palace, on the other hand, is keeping its cool. Spokesperson Harry Roque says not every presence of Chinese vessels in the West Philippine Sea is a cause for concern.
So, wag nating problemahin yung buong West Philippine Sea kasi hindi naman buong West Philippine Sea, yung buong South China Sea na tinatawag ng mga China ay kiniklaim din natin.
He adds, keeping status quo in the contested area still benefits Filipino fishermen who are now free to go about their daily livelihood.
Tanong, nakakapaghanap buhay ka ba ngayon? Hindi ba totoo na nung mga panahon ng mga Administrasyong Aquino kung saan tayo po ay palaaway sa China, yun po yung panahon na hindi kayo nakapangisda sa Boro. So wag po natin kakalimutan na kung hindi po nabago ang pulisiya natin sa China, hindi pa rin po kayo makakapangisda.
Fisherfolk group Pamalakaya has slammed President Duterte's friendly policy towards China on the backdrop of harassment incidents against Filipino fishermen. The group also denounced Duterte's claim that his jet ski remark back in 2016 was just a publicity stunt. They said Filipino fishers have lost their trust in the president. For News 5, Patricia Mangune, we are One News.
It's day 2 for Pfizer vaccinations at the Santa Ana Hospital in Manila, following the commotion among health workers who lined up for the shot yesterday. The waiting turned chaotic on Thursday, as only 200 public health workers were inoculated with a much-desired vaccine brand. Let's get more details on today's inoculations with Justine Ponsalang. She is reporting live from Santa Ana Hospital in Manila. Justine, good morning. So could you tell us how it's going today?
Charles, the second day of Pfizer vaccinations here at Santa Ana Hospital started at 8 this morning. As compared to yesterday, the line of medical workers awaiting their first dose is more manageable and organized. There were 2 separate lines for medical workers. The first one is for those who were able to secure a number from yesterday. The other one is for those who are hoping to be accommodated today. In last night's special report, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno said that 400 doses of Pfizer will be administered here at Santa Ana Hospital. 400 vaccines will also be injected to medical workers lining up at Hospital ng Maynila, and 200 each for Gat Andres Bonifacio, Justice Jose Abad Santos, Hospital ng Sampaloc, and Hospital ng Tondo. According to the guards here at Santa Ana Hospital, they already distributed the 400 reserved numbers yesterday, and those who lined up earlier today might be able to receive their first dose if there will be leftover vaccines from the allotted 400. The first in line among those who haven't secured a slot is Rhea, a nurse who started lining up outside Santa Ana Hospital as early as 2:30 a.m. She said that she actually lined up yesterday but was not among the over 200 who made the cut. After learning that she came after the cutoff, Rhea decided to leave. Her cousin, however, decided to stay and was able to secure a number for today's vaccination. Those who will not make today's cut will just receive numbers for tomorrow's vaccination. The guards also said that the only requirement to receive a number is the medical worker's PRC ID. Manila LGU explained that due to the limited number of Pfizer vaccines at hand, they are prioritizing licensed health workers. Once more supplies of Pfizer shots arrive, the LGU assured that they will be able to extend the rollout to other health workers. Charles, aside from the inoculation of Pfizer vaccines, the Manila LGU is also continue administering the AstraZeneca vaccines to other priority groups. As early as 6 a.m., different vaccination sites in the 6 districts of Manila opened their doors to senior citizens and persons with comorbidities. The vaccination hours was extended to give way or to accommodate more residents of Manila. The sites will close at 8 p.m. Charles?
Thanks for that update. Once again, that was Justine Punsalang reporting live from Manila. Hashtag Arriba Rabia. Miss Universe Philippines Rabia Mateo finally revealed her national costume for the 2020 Miss Universe competition. Channeling Victoria's Secret vibes, but with a nationalistic twist, Mateo glided across the stage in a Philippine flag-inspired outfit. The costume was created by the late Rocky Gatorcol, jewelry designer Manny Halasa. Meanwhile, Miss Thailand wore a costume inspired by the fierce Siamese fighter fish. She's another Asian beauty queen who stole the show with an outfit that seemed to come alive on stage. Miss Canada used the national costume competition to advocate for equality, donning a superhero outfit that screamed resistance and strength. Miss Myanmar sashayed in a replacement garment after her original costume was lost in transit. Still, she did not forget to give a short but poignant call for peace and prayers for her country. Singapore likewise gave a strong statement as she slayed the catwalk with a costume painted with the message, "Stop Asian Hate." And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.